Joe Hopkins here, and today I'm talking about bad songwriting. Whose fault is it? And I got to thinking about this morning, because, have you heard the Beyonce song, Texas Hold'em? Right? The song, Beyonce's got such a good voice. Why do they give her such terrible songs? It's a bad song. A lot of people are all pissed off about it for other reasons, but I'm not upset for those reasons. I'm upset because I don't like the instrumentation. I don't like the arrangement. I don't like the songwriting. I don't like the production style. It's that same standard, like, smashed, everything compressed to hell production. Beyonce's got such a great voice. Wonderful singer. Listen to her. She covered Blackbird. And man, it shows off what a good singer she is, because that's a good song. It's a really good song. And I got to thinking about bad songwriting nowadays. And of course, Beyonce's version of Blackbird, I think they overdid it with the production a little bit. I think they could have gone a little subtler, but whatever. It's a great song, and she has an amazing voice, and it really shows it off on that. But I got to thinking, Texas Hold'em, there's a whole list of songwriters on it. They're the best in the business. They're the top people. Why is it such a poorly written song? Are these really the best we have? They're the highest paid people writing these songs for her. And I got to thinking about it. Whose fault is it that there's such bad songwriting? Some people say, well, if that's what people want to hear, it's kind of their own fault. You're making these big hits. But I don't quite completely buy that. There's not a ton of good songwriting out there these days, but you do have very good songwriters that do hit the top of the charts regularly, like Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish are both excellent songwriters, and their stuff makes the charts, Taylor Swift especially. And whether or not you like her singing, her style, the type of music, whatever, the songwriting is excellent. The lyrical content is very incredibly well done. So, yeah, people will listen to good songs if they're presented properly and promoted and actually put out on the radio, which means the mainline industry thing. And I've kind of noticed that just the music industry isn't really picking very good songwriters to put up there. And I was thinking about the past, when you have bands with hits, like the Beatles, they had I Want to Hold Your Hand and, Twist and Shout, and really simple, straightforward rock and roll songs for the time, right? Real simple stuff, well written, but they're not really stretching themselves. And I'm sure the label would have loved it if they'd just continued doing that. Same thing with Led Zeppelin. They had some big hits on Led Zeppelin too, and the record labels all wanted, their label wanted them to keep doing that. Keep doing that. Don't expand, don't experiment, don't try to broaden your horizons as musicians and songwriters. Just keep doing what works. But artists are difficult to corral like that, You're not really able to. They want to expand. They want to, I think that's why now, starting with American Idol, which was really the music industry trying to get good singers that they could control. That's really what they want. They want Beyonce, they want Katy Perry, they want people that they could say, here's your producer, these guys are going to write your songs, and we're just going to do what we feel works over and over and over again. And that's kind of the direction it's going. And not putting down Beyonce or Katy Perry or anybody like that. If you're not a songwriter, but you're a really talented singer and performer, then yeah, you kind of need some help with it. But what I'm wondering is, a lot of these songwriters that are like at the top of the industry really are not stretching their legs very much, and they're not very good songwriters. I've noticed this in country music too. All the songwriters that they hold up there, oh, these are the guys. A lot of what's there isn't terribly good. In my opinion, as a songwriter, as a person who appreciates good songwriting, it's just not, the musicianship is good. The production is, usually I'm not real big on a lot of the modern production styles, but it is good production. It sounds good. It's radio quality, all that stuff. It's just, everything sounds good, but then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, they cheaped out on it. And most people don't listen to the lyrics that closely. They just, They get the hook and that's it. But I wonder about the songwriters that don't seem to want to stretch their legs at all. Like, take some chances. Expand a little bit. I don't know. It really worked for some bands like Queen, Rush. I'm sure the record labels don't like progressive bands, groups that really want to expand and try new things. A lot of times they don't like that. Just keep doing what works, man. But if they'd have told the Beatles, if the Beatles didn't get to expand, we wouldn't have had Revolver and Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road, and they wouldn't have expanded past that basic rock and roll stuff. You know, we're missing out here. We need more artists that want to try new things and really, you know, move ahead as songwriters and musicians. And I feel like I said, Taylor Swift is doing that. St. Vincent, Billie Eilish really seems to want to try different things and do different things. I like that kind of stuff. I appreciate that. So whose fault is it that the songwriting is so bad? Well, yeah, I don't blame the listeners so much. A lot of this stuff makes it popular off of TikTok and Instagram. You're getting 30-second clips, and a lot of these songs work really well as 30-second clips, and they're not really well thought out for a 3-4 minute song, in my opinion, right? And, you know, this is what's being promoted. And of course, it's not the first time that the record industry has just hired a bunch of ringers, gotten some talent, written the same song over and over again, and kept putting it out. You know, Tin Pan Alley back in the 20s and 30s, you had a lot of the crooner stuff. There were a lot of crooners that were out in the 40s and 50s that were just hired talent, more or less. You know, I'm not talking about the big names like Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, although most of their songs were written for them. But they seem to really try to make it work as artists. Like, they put their artistry into it. But there were a lot of singers and performers over the years that were just, you know, the bubblegum rock of the late 50s, early 60s. A lot of that was just hired talent, hired songwriters, put out the same thing over and over again. This isn't the first time in history people, you know, that they've done this, right? But it just seems like there isn't as much of the other stuff that's really good that's in the mix along with it, you know, like in the past. And I don't know, man. I think a lot of our best songwriters and musicians are doing it more on their own these days. You know, they're not going with the record labels. They're not doing it in a way that's going to get them on the radio and on the charts. And they're doing it for the artistry of it. If you really want to be an artist as a musician and songwriter, it seems like you don't mess with the labels as much these days, and you don't have to. You can make a living without signing a recording contract, without getting with a label, without trying to be a huge star. And a lot of people are less concerned with being at the top of the charts than they are with actually getting to do what they want. And I think we're left with the couple of them that break into the mainstream as artists, and all the hired ringers. You know, that's more or less what a lot of them are. But yeah, Beyonce's thing got me to thinking about that, because as talented as Beyonce is, I just find that the songwriters they have working with her aren't the best at songwriting. I find it distressing that these people are making this much money to do something this poorly. The song should be better. It should be a better song. And a lot of the songs that are on the charts should be better songs for what these guys are getting paid. They should be better songs. The songs should be better. You're not even talking about the production. A lot of the production is very good, very quality. Like I said, not really my taste, overly compressed, but for what it is, it's done right? The musicianship is excellent. All of that. It's just the songwriting is just, oof. And a lot of Beyonce's stuff, you don't notice how bad the songwriting is because Beyonce pulls it off. She really is an amazing singer, an amazing performer, and she makes this sound better than it should. If that was anybody else, it wouldn't work. I think, if they had lesser talent singing it. But yeah, just my thoughts. What do you guys think? Whose fault is it that it's that bad? Is it our fault for listening? Is it their fault for promoting this junk? Is it the songwriter's fault for just not being as good as they should be? Could they be better? Could they hire better songwriters, maybe? I don't know, maybe. Just some thoughts of mine. Anyway, yeah, that's my rant for the day. That's a rant. I'm just going to rant. That's blah. So yeah, if you want to see some of my other rants, there's a playlist going to come up in a sec here. It says rants. It's just me ranting about dumb shit like this. And there's other stuff too. Subscribe to my channel and yeah. Oh, man, it's spring. Allergies are killing me. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.